too narrow. Every ticket.
I pressed the
It's
button.
gonna be no residence, unless it's an Amazon driver, it's gonna be. My father's here.
I see. Hello. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Megan, will you read the statement of presiding officer, please?
Sure. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting, specifically the time, date, and public call-in information, were included in the meeting that was electronically sent to the Echo Sentinel and Morris Daily Record and posted on the township website. The agenda and public handouts for this meeting can be viewed online at www.longhillnj.gov. A public comment period will be held in the order as listed on the meeting agenda.
I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, would you please take the roll?
Yes. Committeeman Dorsey?
Here.
Committeeman Ray?
Present.
Committeeman Verleza?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Paserchia?
Present.
Mayor Lavender?
Present. Okay. Before we get started, I wanted to recognize Peter O'Neill, who passed away recently. Peter was a former mayor of this town, Passaic Township at the time, in 1974 and 1975. And, you know, he was greatly loved by residents in this town who knew him. And I read a little bit about him in his obituary, and I just wanted to read some of that because it was pretty amazing. It says, Peter was an active member of his community, holding many local and county positions, including the mayor of Long Hill Township in 74 and 75, finance chairman of the Township Committee from 73 to 78, planning board from 74 to 78, and in recent years was on the Shade Tree and Open Space Commissions. He devoted countless hours serving his church community as a catechist, lay minister, and lector at St. Vincent's de Paul in Sterling. He was ordained a deacon in 2003, serving nearly 20 years, and he was a fourth-degree member of the Knights of Columbus. He was also a member of the St. Patrick's Division in Somerville, the Ancient Order of Hibernians, and was the New Jersey state president from 97 to 99. And so, to Peter's family, we'd like to offer our condolences and you know, just recognize Peter. Did you know Peter, Guy?
I knew him well, and in his obituary, it says that he never missed an opportunity to call somebody up and say, not invite them to the Seton Hall game. He would say, you're going. And I was the blessed recipient on several of those.
He was a
So,
Florida grad.
he was what?
He was a Florida grad.
Yeah. I just assumed he was a Seton Hall grad, but he's a good man, and God bless you and his family. He
All
has a
right.
wonderful family as well.
God bless and rest in peace. Thank you. Okay. So next on the agenda, onto something nice. Al Pepe is here today. Al, are you out there? Oh, okay. So recently, Al was inducted into the USA Softball Hall of Fame of New Jersey. And I'd like to read this proclamation and then walk down there and see Al. But it says, whereas Albert Pepe, a lifetime resident, has been inducted into the USA Softball of New Jersey Hall of Fame in October of 23, and whereas from 77 to 2006, Al Pepe pitched 30 seasons of fast-pitch softball with teams in the Class A and B division, and Albert had a career total of 702 games, pitched 367 winning games. That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
And won 43 games in championship play in New Jersey, states in 20, Mid-Atlantic Regionals 14, and national qualifiers 3 and 6 at the USA Nationals. And whereas Albert had a combined 8-1 record in the state and regional championships with a .95 ERA, .95, that's pretty good, in 98. And whereas Albert was the winning pitcher in both championship final games and MVP of the state tournament, and whereas Albert played 12 seasons with the New Jersey A's and during his career won 110 games and had a 2.81 ERA, And whereas during Albert's time on the New Jersey A's, he played in 6 title winners, including 2 New Jersey State and 1 Mid-Atlantic Regional Championships. And whereas Albert's overall 30-year career included 4 20-win seasons and a season with 32 wins. When was the last time that was done? Denny McLean?
31, I think.
Yes. And whereas Albert's number 16 has been retired by the A's, and now therefore the Township Committee of the Township of Long Hill would like to recognize and congratulate Al Pepe for his accomplishments. Al, come on up. Check. Al. And so one thing I found out that I didn't know, and I think I got this from the Echoes, you were instrumental in getting the lights on Myersville Field.
Yes, yeah,
You want to tell us about that?
sure. So actually, it was my late brother Bob and Ralph Maresca, who at the time, it was the early 80s, we needed another field to play at. So they were redoing the train tracks here in town, and we got the telephone poles from the Transit Authority. We got them dug for nothing, and then got the lights donated and installed for nothing. So it was basically, a free job. But
And you and Bob, I think the paper said you guys got like $10,000 to rehabilitate that field and to make it something worth playing on.
yeah, at the time it was a Little League field that was pretty much underwater because it's in Myersville. And so we brought Phil in, put the lights in, put a scoreboard in, put everything in there. So we made it into one of the premier fields in northern Jersey. So, yeah, big time.
That's tremendous. I know my girls have played tons of games on that field, and it's a well-loved field in town. So thank you for all your work on that, and congratulations on an awesome accomplishment.
All right. So, first, I'd like to thank the Township Committee for recognizing me. I'm very fortunate to have played 30-plus years and traveled all the way across the country, many cities, many towns. I actually wound up in a lot of unique situations, places. Softball actually landed me in Rahway State Prison. Not for an extended stay, but I actually pitched a game against the inmates inside Rahway State Prison. I've amassed a lot of memories over the years, but my fondest memories are where it all started, right here in Long Hill Township, playing game after game, endless games at Central School into the dark, and then double headers at Myersville Field. So it's truly passion of mine, and I really appreciate the award. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. All right. So next, Kyle Midhassel, are you here?
Yes.
Yeah. So Kyle is from New Jersey American Water. He's going to give us an update on the system. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and committee members. So just wanted to start by saying thank you for having me here to give this update. I'll run through a list of our ongoing projects, some projects that we're wrapping up. If I'm going too quick, you have questions, please just jump in, but otherwise I'll just kind of run through what we have going on. So first project was started quite a while ago. It is our administrative operations building. It's right at our wastewater treatment plant facility. We gutted that entire building. At this point, we've reconstructed it inside and out. Right now, the roof is fully replaced, watertight, the flashing's on, overhangs installed, windows installed. The interior is nearing completion. We changed around some of the functionality. We installed a new laboratory in the facility. So all the furniture's in there. We have the hoods. We have all the wiring. Everything's in place. And at this point, we're just installing the final electric components, and then we'll be doing the floor, and that will be done. So that's a pretty big step, and that's really going to help us move forward with treatment. Across the way from that is our Vector truck building. That's the new facility. If you've seen that going up over the last several months, if not more, that's nearing completion as well. All the work is complete on the exterior, all the walls, the doors, everything's installed. Recently, we were able to run the gas line and the water line down that road to the building itself. That took some doing because of some contamination in the ground and working with PSC&G and others, but that is now complete. So we're working on closing that out in the next few weeks, and then we'll be back to do restoration, final restoration in the spring. So that building will have some locker rooms for the team, as well as some tool and truck storage. The other project that's kicking off and now underway at that plant is the filter building rehabilitation. We're going to be upgrading those filters and a lot of the equipment within it. That includes valves, pumps, the filters themselves, and many other pieces of equipment. And one of the most important parts is what we call the PLC, but essentially the brains that controls that system. So that is underway. We have it all under contract. We're in procurement on that. We'll be mobilizing the contractor on site in February, and that project is slated to be done towards the end of 2024 in the December timeframe. So that'll be another big one. A lot of folks are probably aware we are working on the Morristown and the Clover Hill pump stations. Those also have been going for quite some time and are nearing completion. The internal work there is done. For the most part, we're waiting on a few last-minute components. Unfortunately, with the procurement challenges, we're waiting on the generator and, again, a PLC, which is the brains of those stations. We expect them to come in the next few months, and once they're installed, those systems will be put online. Currently, they're running. We're just in a bypass temporary mode. Things are working quite well, and we've had a few storms to test that, and things are going well. Cleaning and lining throughout the town, that's been ongoing. We had a plan in place, and once we got out there, we were able to actually do some additional sections with the funding that we had set aside for that. So that's continuing as we speak. We'll actually be starting up again later this week, Friday morning. That will run for about 2 more weeks, and that will be done and wrap up the 2023 cleaning and lining project. We are looking to 2024 already, working on permitting so we can hit the ground running with the next phase of that project. That will be an ongoing project each year to help reduce the I&I. We've also finished some design work this year. About 6 weeks ago, we wrapped up 2 different designs. One is for a roof over our sludge holding tank. The other is for a clarifier. It goes around the clarifier to walkway to help with the operations and the cleaning and maintenance of that facility. Currently, we have to bring in specialized lifts to get in there to do the work, and this will help move that along quicker. We've been working on the Sterling Pond aerial crossing. So that's a sewer main that's elevated above the stream there. There's been some challenges with that, with the easement, but I think we are nearing resolution on that, and we're looking forward to getting started on the construction sometime next year. We have the firm, engineering firm involved, and we're looking to get that done sometime next year, full completion. So that's in the early stages, but more to come on that. Another one is our oxidation ditch. When we came on board, the system was very, very old and aging, and it had some issues. Several months ago, it actually failed. A piece of it failed, and we had to really go on an emergency mode to keep that system running. We were successful in doing so. The system's now, thankfully, back online, and we're actually planning a full rehabilitation of that ditch next year. We're in the very early stages of developing RFPs, so we'll be doing a design and then a full replacement to avoid any of those failures in the future. Another project about 6 weeks ago wrapped up. We replaced the screening system that comes into the plant. So all the wastewater that comes in has an initial screening process. It's a drum screen, and we were able to replace that and actually upgrade the existing. We've seen some pretty good results on that already. It's improving our treatment and helping maintain our pumps with less debris getting through that initial screen. Later this week, we are getting an additional PACL. It's a type of chemical to help with coagulation. We have 2 tanks, and we went and received approval to install a 3rd tank for added resiliency. That tank's being delivered tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. So that one's going to be loaded off-site, and then we'll be working on construction throughout the next few months to get that online. With that, there was also a project that we're doing a design for some containment for delivery of PACL, as well as some other chemicals that we receive at the site and fuel. So we're working to improve that, to make sure that we protect the environment should there be a spill or any sort of discharge during a delivery. So that's in the design phase, and then once we have that complete, we'll be looking to move to construction and get some pricing to get that into our capital plan for the future. The last ongoing project is the system expansion. So that's a project in itself, but it does tie in with all the other projects, most of the ones I just mentioned, because part of that project is to increase the capacity to the plant, and then we can expand the system. So you kind of have to do them in order, sequentially. That is ongoing. We have the engineer on board. Many folks in town may notice that there's some folks from Colliers going around. They're doing site survey work. They're in the process of some of that initial data gathering. We anticipate a report to come from them in the March timeframe. That report is really going to help us outline our path forward. We do plan to approach it in a staged approach, or I'll say a phased approach. I think last time I was here, I kind of mentioned some of the details around that, but we have 3 kind of categories of future connections. Areas that have a main in front of the building that are within the permitted sewer service area. Then you have areas with no main that are within the sewer service area. And the last category is areas that have no sewer mains and are outside of the sewer service area. So that presents some challenges with permitting and working with the state and others to get that sewer service area expanded in the permit, number 1. And then from there, the design report, well, initially it'll be the report in March, will help us understand which areas can be sewered, which areas can be sewered with gravity, where we may potentially need pump stations and other facilities to take that wastewater and then transfer it and transport it to our wastewater facility for treatment. So a lot more to come in the next few months on that. Once we get a little more data and information, it will really help outline and give us a much bigger, better, detailed picture of the project from here to completion. One thing that we would like to do is when that report when we receive that report in the March timeframe, we'd like to work with the town and develop some sort of working group to help coordinate the future construction work. Obviously, very little impact now with surveying, but once we start getting out there, installing mains, coordinating with paving in town, coordinating with activities, things going on, also coordinating with other utility work that's going on. So we want to make sure that we do that and better understand the needs of the town to optimize that project. So certainly more to come on that, and I'm very hopeful that we can work together on that. And that would be an ongoing, project for the next few years to just work that to the end and expand that system. One thing we are currently doing is still accepting applications for future sewer service connections, and where there is an exemption in the current ban, we are facilitating those connections. So those are primarily for residents with a sewer main in front of their home that's active. So we are still moving forward with that when and where we can, and ultimately expanding to at least 95% of the system. So I'll pause there.
You did that without notes, so I'm impressed.
Yeah, well, just know the projects, that's it.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Kyle?
How much, give you a general idea of how much money you think that NJW's put into the system since you acquired it?
I'd have to get some actual figures, but it's in the millions already. And
Have any of
we
the
have
local
millions more.
engineers discussed any of the projects with you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Any of the citizen engineers came and discussed the projects with you?
Not yet, no, not at this time.
Just checking.
I have a question. The work that you described on the filters and the valves, should we expect any service interruptions or changes in water quality, anything like that?
No, and that's something that we pride ourselves on. If all goes as planned, no one will know this work is happening, other than my my rant on all the ongoing work, but that should be about it. This is all interplant facility. It won't impact our treatment process. We'll remain compliant with the state. We'll still maintain the ability to receive any and all, current flow that we have. So the residents should not see any interruption from that whatsoever.
Awesome.
So Kyle, thank you. I mean, it's not easy to make this subject sound interesting, and I know I found it quite interesting. It's your recommendation about a working group. I'm looking at our DPW director, our police department, our engineer, administrative mayor, and I don't know if you've worked with other towns, if you can think of someone or some other function that should be at part of that working group, just let us know.
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to follow up, but I
Yeah.
appreciate it, and thank you.
I think
Thank you,
we'll
Kyle.
invite you back in the March-April timeframe for another update.
Absolutely, yep, I'd be
Great.
happy to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, take care.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so moving along, the next, this ordinance 529-23, second reading, adoption, an ordinance vacating various paper streets and portions of paper streets. So, let me explain this one. So we passed that on on first reading in the attempt that if we were going to pass this before the end of the year, we'd have an opportunity to do that. But parallel to that, we asked Dennis Sandow to go do some research on this, which he did. And he actually did very detailed analysis of this, and the recommendation now is that we push this and not take action. And the reason is that there's so many paper streets that don't neatly fit into categories where they can be dealt with in one fell swoop. And there are certain paper streets that through his research, there's hiking trails on and things of that nature. So unless you folks object, my recommendation is that we just push this to next year. And what that means is it goes back to first reading next year, and we take it from there. But, there's no rush to do this. Any comments?
I mean, other than commending Dennis, because I think by the looks of it, a lot of his research was done over the Thanksgiving break. So thank
While
you,
he
Dennis.
was doing the master plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, how many people here were coming to comment on that? Okay, so we're not going to do anything tonight. Now, I know some people were for this, some people were against it. I'm happy to open up the floor if anybody wants to come up and offer their comments.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
and absolutely, but Jack, you and I had a conversation. Unfortunately, social media is not the place to go for answers, and I saw a string of comments that if a paper street is vacated on the particular property, their taxes go up, which is well, I'd rather Jack explain that.
Yeah. The town does not own paper streets. There's a misconception about that. The public just has a right-of-way to use a paper street. And the town can vacate that paper street if it's not needed for public use. And as part of that, they have to reserve any utility easements that run through the paper street. But what happens in 99% of the cases is the title to that property returns to the owner on each side of the street. In fact, they do own it, subject to the right. But once that paper street is cleared, then they don't have any burdens on their title
And Jack,
anymore.
correct, you said 99% of the time. That rare exception, correct me if I'm wrong, and you'll explain it better, is if there's a financial benefit, i.e. the property can then be subdivided into being a buildable property.
Yeah,
That,
in almost every case, it will not affect your assessment, because you just have a buildable lot. Now, it's a rare case where 25 feet on one side is gonna make a lot subdividable into two lots. So, I can't even imagine any of them,
Yeah.
where that would actually happen, but theoretically it could.
Yeah, but it'll increase your acreage,
But-
which should.
Yeah.
If you wanna come on up to the mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm willing to open the floor here so we can get some comment and questions.
I can explain that. As a practical matter, it's not gonna affect your assessment. It really doesn't, it's a de minimis impact, and you still have one buildable lot, which is the bottom line.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of difference between a quarter acre lot and a third of an acre lot for assessment purposes. So it
Yeah.
really doesn't increase your assessment, but what it will do is clear your title. So
Yeah.
when you go to sell, you won't have that paper street, along the edge of your property, which I would think would make it easier to sell. It's really, in most cases, I can't imagine that it's not a benefit to the abutting property owner.
If you could, I have another question.
Sure.
If you could just state your name for the record, that'd be great.
John Walsh, 32 Ridge.
Thank you.
The 40 acres to the left where York Road goes up, who owns that property and what is it?
Where is it?
It's York Road, right?
Is that like towards Berkeley Heights?
It's at the end of Chatham Township.
Yeah.
So our neighbors are Chatham Township.
And is it on Long Hill Road or Marsville Road?
It touches Long Hill Road.
I think that's open space, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, not sure.
I think the township owns it.
If Dennis is watching out there, please call in.
Yeah, he's got this committed to memory, I'm sure.
The
And
township is
on
completely-
open space, can anything ever be done with that?
Well,
Only
if,
for recreation and open space purposes, because it's all subject to Green Acres restrictions. So, and anything we would want to do, even if we wanted to add a bathroom today, we'd have to go to Green Acres and get their approval.
Okay.
so if you want, email me. It's a simple email, administrator@longhillnj.gov, and I can give you the answers of who owns it or if it's open space or whatever. If you could just give me, an idea of where the property is.
Actually, Dennis weighed in on that one. He said, it's York Drive, right, over there? All right, he said, once again, we see a pitiful remains of a much larger abandoned subdivision. See attached 1930s tax map. And then he said, there's 4 houses on Ridge and Valley View that are only accessible from Chatham, correct? Is that where?
Yes.
Yes, all right, and then they're served by Chatham Post Office, Chatham Telephone, are not plowed by us.
Yes.
And then he said we should clean that up, blah, blah, blah. And why focus on York Drive? That's what he said. No name. Yeah.
So you live near Rush Dryer then?
He's
Glenn,
behind
I'm sorry,
us.
Glenn.
He's behind us.
I Gotcha. Now I know where you are.
The other thing we can't do is landlock a property. So if a property's only access is through a paper street,
Told you.
we can't vacate it. But
Yes,
next year, we,
That
So
wouldn't
Mr.
be
Walsh,
the only
stay there.
access, though.
So that
You have
wouldn't
the
apply then.
road behind,
But
you have 2 roads.
but what
He's
I'm-
on one.
Yeah.
So,
when we introduce this again next year, we'll explain everything and try
Is
to get
Dennis
into
on
the
Zoom?
details of each lot
Oh.
before we do it.
okay.
Just watch it.
Text them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sandow's on the back phone right now.
All right, according to Dennis, the township does own that property, but it's a steep slope issue, and that's why you can't build on it anyway.
But we couldn't.
We couldn't-
Green Acres
yeah.
restrictions anyway, so.
Is it a steep slope over there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what he said.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dennis. Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Walsh.
Thanks.
all right.
Thank you.
Again, the
Anybody,
only person-
you wanna,
Comment, come on Zoom.
No.
any other comments? Come on up.
Unplug your phone.
Thank you, sir.
And again, as we said, we're not passing this tonight. It starts all over again in 2024, so, but we are interested in your comments on it, so,
Okay.
go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Lori White. York Road also abuts up to my property as well. So you're saying the paper road belongs to who, in essence?
it
I'm sorry,
actually-
it was very hard to hear you in the back.
Oh, I'm
Please.
sorry. It actually belongs to the abutting property owners, subject to the right of the public to cross it. So a street vacation ordinance just says the public no longer has the right, so the town could never put a street there in the future, basically. But you already own it,
Okay.
subject, as I say, to the right of way.
So now why are you trying to vacate these streets?
Some people have asked us over the years to vacate them. One reason is if you're building an addition, it helps you meet setback requirements. So if you're putting an addition on the side of your house next to the paper street, it'll give you 25 more feet that you could use for setback. And you probably use the paper street as your property now anyway.
But it kind of officially becomes theirs now.
Exactly.
Well, it removes the restriction.
You're right, yes,
It
yeah,
is
so it's like,
officially theirs.
I'm
to the
sorry,
middle.
yes,
Correct.
but it's unencumbered.
That's right. And like I said, it really makes your title clearer because you no longer have that paper street along the edge.
So it's a benefit.
Right.
So we don't, in essence, need to purchase it.
No.
No, you
We're
own
not
it.
selling it. We don't
already
own it.
yours.
The township does not own it, so the township can't sell it.
Okay. And you're saying it's going taking title to the center line of the street, so
In
whatever.
99% of the cases. There are some cases where there was a subdivision that has a road around the edge, it would all go to one side, but that's really rare. I can't think of any in town that would fall into that category.
As far as lot size, insurance, property taxes, any of that going to sell the property going forward, any impact? How,
I think it would make it easier to sell your property, because when people get their survey and the title search, it's gonna show a paper street. And a paper street could be paved in the future and become a road. So I would think, as a practical matter, it's gonna make it easier to sell your property if you ever do that.
okay. My other question, I'm sorry, why not leave it the way it is? Like, if they've been paper roads for all this time, why now? Why
We've had
these
some
road-
requests, from some residents to vacate the streets. And so the one recommendation that came up is, well, let's just deal with this. It would simplify the tax map, et cetera, et cetera. When we did the analysis, we decided that it was too complicated to deal with them all at once. So we're just going to rescind this right now and do nothing for the time being until we figure out the different categories that all these pay. We may deal with some of them, we may deal with a few of them.
We probably have more paper streets than any other town,
Yeah,
because there were subdivisions right before the 1929 crash.
a lot of these paper streets are like in wetlands areas
Most-
too.
Many of them are.
Okay.
Like you'd be surprised what's in Sterling on,
South Warren, like you go you go on South Main Street down towards like the river, there's
Right.
like, I just found out there were streets back there about a month and a half ago.
yeah. And they'll never be built on
No, it's all
because
in
they're
flood zone.
wetlands.
There are a whole bunch down by Berkeley Heights.
Yeah, down
Named
that
after
way.
streets in Newark, Orange Street, and all
Yep.
these different, Roseville section and Newark streets.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the important thing for you to focus on is, in your particular case, it's a benefit. It removes one, it doesn't affect your taxes, you already own the property anyway, so I don't know how it could affect your taxes.
Plus,
So, and it removes that question mark when you go to sell it to me, or Matt, or somebody from another town.
Right.
They look at that and say, wait a minute, there's a restriction on this property. If the paper street is removed, that complication, that question
It's eliminated.
isn't asked.
Mhm.
So I
Okay.
think your questions are very valid,
right.
but fortunately, the answers are, it's a benefit.
Yeah.
And what benefit does the town have in all of this, if any?
Cleans up the tax maps.
Cleaning up our books, if you will.
Okay. Everybody can always use a little clean out.
All right. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Daniel Herdina, 20 Valley View. I'm actually in Chatham. The back of my property is Long Hill. So what you gentlemen were saying about the part of the road already being mine, my concern now that I wasn't even aware of is a lot of people walk that road. So if it's my property and then it's my neighbor's property, if someone like rolls their ankle walking there, like is this like the same thing as them walking through my backyard? Should I stop people from walking in that area?
No,
You talking about on the street or on like the?
On the
place where
paper street.
Paper street, that's part of his property. If someone gets hurt on it, I would think that he might have some type of liability there.
possible.
Oh, you have it now, you're right.
I was just
Right,
gonna ask you
Yes.
that, Jack.
It's
Yeah,
always
so at this
existed.
point, I should tell people to stop walking.
That's up to
on
you.
the-
Yeah.
Well, would that be
We-
covered
we can't
under
give
his homeowner since it's his property?
Could be.
Okay, well, in the
It's
same
your
essence, I
call.
don't want someone walking
Well, we
through my
don't-
backyard. I
call,
want
yes.
You
them-
can't give them legal advice from there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, Bob Franco, 1445 Long Hill Road. We have a paper road that's called Beach. I don't think it's on your list that was studied. It's called the Beach Street. No? Yeah, so, was that?
Where are you on Long Hill Road? In Millington?
14455,
Millington side.
right?
Oh, that's it, because Beach Street would go behind Central School, might wrap
Exactly.
around. Okay.
Exactly. So, so it's a weird property. So I got my house, and then we got this like big cliff with woods, and then it continues in my neighbor's yard. So, and then it comes around his house. So then this paper road is technically our property, but the only way for me to get to the lower part of my house is through that paper road. So it's kind of a, I don't know how that would work if it went to, would it stay with us? Would it go someplace else?
When the town vacates the street, it doesn't convey title. It's really up to the property owner to determine title, but we would look at it. If it cuts off part of your property, it probably shouldn't be vacated. But,
Yeah, we
you
can't
know,
get
we'll deal
down
with
there
that.
without that paper road. So anyway, just throw that out there. So it would stick with us. And the other question, actually, this isn't a question. It's when we moved in about 2.5 years ago. Our neighbors came over and said, you know that road that's over there, that's part of your property, how they all know this? I don't know. But it's to your point about the school, it's like there's no sidewalks on Long Hill Road. So that road, paper road thing, would be a perfect way to get down to like that high streets so that they wouldn't have to get down to Main Street to get to the ice cream place, the Sterling Hotel, the pizza place, the street fair. You know, right now we all park down there, because there's no way to walk down there. That would be a great opportunity. This would be a great paper road to develop and just bring us down to Main Street. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity. I'll be more than happy to work with the town because I'm the one that's getting all the complaints that, hey, we can't walk down to Main Street, you know,
The
without.
other thing is we could ask people for a pedestrian easement, which would only be 15 feet wide or something, but, you know, we can deal with each property on a
For
case-by-case
liability,
basis.
back to the other gentleman's question, though, if he owns the property, but he gives us a pedestrian easement,
But as part of the easement, we could assume liability for it.
okay.
So
Yeah, I would pass
protect
that
the
along
property
if
owner,
it could.
Would you mind reaching out to Randy so we can have your contact information? I think that's a wonderful idea and a nice gesture on your part.
Oh, my goodness, because it's like, I would use it. Can you just go down to the train station? Go down to the train station, I gotta drive.
So you like ice cream too? That's the
Ice
other
cream,
part.
pizza, you know, beer, whatever. Could I leave you my
Yeah.
number?
It's at, sure.
Oh, right. I write it down. I can
Thank
give it to
you.
you.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
Well,
very generous.
thanks for the comment. And this is why we know we need to kind of
Thank you.
look at this a little bit more granularly.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
And so we could assume liability if it's a pedestrian easement
Right.
and we put it right
In
in there.
return for vacating the street, we could ask for a 10 or 15-foot wide pedestrian easement as part of that.
Understood. Just goes to show why dialogue openly is,
Yeah, absolutely.
good things come from it.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And welcome to town. You've only been here 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I was 24 at my last one, so you get used to this face.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So there you have it. Now we're going to move along. Consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull a resolution to discuss or abstain from? Brendan, I think you have.
Yeah, I'm going to abstain from 23, 310, 311, 317, and 324.
And 325?
I wasn't. I probably should, right? Because that's that's.
No, I
fire
don't think you have
department.
to.
But Jack, would you?
Yeah, you're not supposed to vote on fire department things.
So yeah, I'll
It's easier because it's going to
yeah,
pass anyway.
okay.
exactly. I'll abstain from 325 too,
All right.
just to round it out.
So, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda resolutions 306 through 325 with the aforementioned abstentions?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Paserchia?
Yes.
Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay. Liaison reports. Matt, I'll start down at your end.
All right, let's see, from the DPW. The holiday lights and decorations are installed. I've been a lot of compliments on that, so that's going, residents like that. They continue to clean out the catch basins. There's 1,300 in town, so that's a big project. They are continuing. It's an ongoing process for dead tree removal from township properties and right-of-ways. It seems to never end. Lawn maintenance and leaf collection, that's pretty much wrapping up now. They're repairing the catch basins as need be. And of course, the never-ending saga of filling potholes. We do have, just a reminder, with the holidays coming up, we have our bustling styrofoam recycling program, and as the consent agenda, now Mountain Lake's what's in on it. So there's more towns that are bringing their styrofoam to us, so the program's really taking off, and it's helping other towns too. But please support it.
Give that to me.
There is a collection bin right by the library, so I drop off stuff there, so you don't have to worry about when the DPW is open. Don't forget, there's the cooking oil to drop off around the holiday season or anytime you're cooking. We have the cans. I know they just brought, Al, do you have any idea how much the fire department got for donating the cans last time? Okay, Al Gallo, the Sterling chief, just told us that thanks to the recycling efforts of the town, a check was written to St. Barnabas for over $400 to the burn unit by the fire company, and that's because all the residents were donating aluminum cans. We also have used oil recycling, which is great because it helps. Last year we installed a heating system down at DPW that uses old heating oil as a primary, and then obviously the natural gas as a backup. So if you do change oil in your car, your motorcycle, whatever, bring it down. We'll recycle it and use it to heat the buildings. So stay on top of all those recycling things. Fire department, 217 calls to date. That's almost one a day between the fire departments. And thanks all the residents who signed up for the firefighter Santa for both Sterling and Millington. So this weekend, is it Saturday, Brendan?
Yep, Saturday.
So
16th.
Saturday, if you hear a lot of sirens going around town, don't be alarmed. Santa Claus has come to town, and he will be driving presents to all the children that requested them. So don't be alarmed on Saturday. There'll be a lot of sirens, and there'll be a lot of activity, but it's nothing to be alarmed about.
Got that many presents, Brendan? Got that many presents?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, you can still sign up or stop by the fire department tomorrow night from 6 to 9. Sterling, I don't know Millington, but Sterling, there will be people
it's the
there.
same with us. Still
Okay.
will be- yeah.
So 6 to 9 tomorrow, there will be people at the Sterling Fire Company if you have any questions or set up times or drop-offs. From the PD, Lieutenant Chambrillo, the good news is there are no major incidents, which is great to hear. However, there's common sense things that she wants to remind everybody about. First, we have the Toys for Tots, so they do the toy drive. That is, they're still collecting toys, accepting new unwrapped toys. You can drop them off at the police department in the lobby at any time, and at Starbucks over on Valley Mall. That is till Monday, December 18th, and I'm sure they will distribute them to very needy kids. Community services, they offer the police now have vacant vacation security house checks. So if you want the police to stop by or take a look at your property when you're away, call the PD, 908-647-8000, choose option 1, and you can provide the details listed on the website regarding the dates and times you're going to be away. Of course, this is confidential. It's not going to be made public. And you can request the checks and provide them with emergency contacts if something may happen. And then when you come back, just let them know you're back, and then they don't have to go check your house anymore. Sorry, 1,800. 8,000 was my uncle's number. All right, so it's 1,800 option 1. What?
That's our number.
Oh, well, we can call town hall, no
So
transfer.
it's
over.
908-647-1800.
There you go.
Thanks.
I stand corrected. And then finally, this is an ongoing problem throughout the country, porch pirates. So if you're going to get stuff delivered, even if you have a Ring camera, it doesn't stop them. So if possible, can you please ask them to deliver it around the back or maybe to a neighbor's house that's home or next to the garage, somewhere that's less visible and it's not sitting out there all day. And also, it still boggles my mind why people do this, but if you're going to give a holiday gift to like the mail person, the garbage man, the delivery people, please don't tape it to the top of the garbage can or leave it in your mailbox. It's going to get stolen. So if you know what time the recycling people come or the garbage people, just try to meet them out there. And if you don't get them before the holidays, they'll be more than happy to accept it any time of year. Post office, you want to tip your mail carrier, you can just bring it right down to the post office itself, and you'll know he or she'll get it, and it's safe there. And that's it. So thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Guy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the first aid squad, it's similar each month, just shy of 60 calls, 2 a day. So they will probably come in again somewhere between 700, 800 calls. Reminder, just like the fire companies, as Matt pointed out, they are 100% volunteer. The first aid squad's fund drive is ongoing. If you are in a position to help out, please, by all means. And Mr. Mayor, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder. The volunteers, just on a broader note, the fire companies are always looking for people that are willing to volunteer. The first aid squad, they really need people to step up. And all of our volunteers, to point, the volunteer dinner the other night, the mayor pointed out, we have 319 volunteers in town. Anytime we've reached out to the community, if we need something or someone in a particular area, unlike a lot of towns, we have a planning board and a zoning board. A lot of towns have gone to consolidation because they cannot find volunteers. We have volunteers that are always willing to step up. If you're interested, you can fill out a volunteer form online, or you can reach out to anybody here. You can reach out to the administrator, to the municipal clerk. But this time of year, a big thank you to everybody who does step up. But since I started on with the first aid squad, they will come in 2 a day, somewhere between 700 and 800 calls this year. They are out there saving your lives, just like our first responders, the police department, and the fire company. So big thank you to those groups. Thank you.
Thanks. Brendan?
No report.
We'll give an update on the planning board.
I wasn't there last night or Tuesday night.
Two meetings ago.
Oh,
The master
the
plan.
master. Oh, I thought that was old news. My goodness, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Well, the master plan is completed. We are now in the enviable position of having a master plan, and we don't need to talk about it anymore. And thanks to everybody who it truly took a village to get that done, and thanks to everybody who was involved from the committee here all the way through to the various members of the planning boards over the years, but also the residents who spent a lot of time sitting in the master plan committee meetings, and it truly is a great accomplishment. We've learned a lot. And I think the next one will be that much easier and streamlined to get done.
Yep.
So
Thank you. Vic?
All right, no updates on open space, no update on beautification. We have a short one for rec. Rec update is as follows.
Everyone's face is
We're
good.
waiting for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
audio
yeah,
visual.
it's-
Yeah,
it's
wait for the,
it's like Pavlovian.
it's just you.
There's no.
You calling us a rat? Is it- Where's the cheese?
Am I moving forward or am I waiting?
Go
We
ahead.
want to see pictures, but.
Vic, that's big
There's
type
no,
on
no
that page.
pictures.
Turn that around. Come on.
Large type edition.
Getting old.
You can read it from here.
Yeah, you don't need to read it.
All right, everyone. There's your rec liaison report.
You don't get off
Happy
that
holidays to all. Okay. The Myersville Ball Field parking lot project is coming along. The parking lot is now paved, although it is not open. They are still working on the fencing and some additional groundwork around the area. Rec will post on the website when the project is completed. And that's the rec update for this week. And happy holidays to everybody.
Vic, at the risk of putting you
Thank
on the spot, I saw some residents were asking about, in years past, I think there was a map of where the decorated homes were. Do you know if Lisa's gonna put out that map again?
I've got nothing.
Maybe we can reach out to Lisa. I'm sure Lisa's probably watching and she's gonna text me momentarily.
Okay.
The phone's right there.
That's Dennis's phone.
Oh, it's Dennis. Okay.
All right. So moving along, administrators report. Randy?
Yeah, Mayor, I have two things. One is for the last meeting of the year, we're gonna have on the 29th, I have a something that is gonna come forward for some changes of the personnel policy. Most of these changes are asked by the JIF and the MEL. We've had a lot of different things occur in not only in New Jersey, but throughout the state. Some of it's pandemic related, some of it's legalization of marijuana and drug and alcohol testing, and the process of who is required to get tested and so forth. And so we have to do those couple of changes to meet the GIFs requirements. The other report that I want to give is a real quick report. There was an article in the newspaper that caused a lot of concern to people about maintenance of trees. That was on the front page, and there was an unfortunate accident, and actually a rare accident, where a tree fell on a moving car, and thank God the driver wasn't injured. A branch did go through the passenger windshield. So, and thank God she wasn't injured. But, people just may not understand how much work we do on tree maintenance. Just for public works alone, we put in 700 man-hours, just under 700 man-hours, to take down 87 trees this year alone. As far as outside contractors, we spent over $50,000 and took down 34 large trees. That's 120 trees that we took care of this year. The director, Al Gallo, and I are one of the big topics of our conversation for budget is trees this coming year. So we are aware of tree maintenance. We aren't in the habit of cutting down healthy trees, and we do not want to do that. As if there's trees that need maintenance or dead trees, yes, we will address them. And likewise, we would like to put out there, if you have dead trees on your property that is not in the right of way of the township will not and cannot take them down. You are responsible for maintaining those trees. So please be diligent and keep an eye on those trees that are on your property.
No, Randy, I have a quick question. I read that article in the paper too. There's nothing in there from the town. Like, did you ever talk to the paper about it or give them any information?
Nobody ever called.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that explains that then.
Okay, anything else?
That's it. Happy holidays.
Good. All right, so a couple discussion items. First off, we've talked about harassment training, and I think the update on that is we'll do that in January after we name, new leads on zoning and planning for the chair and vice chair. We'll go through that ourselves. I think Tom's got some recommendations. Tom Cernicki, our HR guy's got some recommendations on some courses from the GIF.
Yes, and he and I have been playing a little phone tag, but we also have been discussing the various training that's available to him, and he is researching what would best fit for governing bodies and so forth. And there's a lot out there, the stuff from the MEL, stuff from the GIF, and other agencies out there, so.
Yep. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there so it's on your radar for January. ID badges. Anything you want to say about ID badges, Randy?
Just that we do issue ID badges for employees. There has been questions whether volunteers for different boards and commissions should have ID badges. Really, the purpose of ID badges is to identify people to the public. So building inspectors, code enforcement officer, people that go out into the public to do business with residents. They have a township ID so that it identifies them as an employee of the township. Quite honestly, board members don't have that same interaction, so I'm not sure. In the past, we've done certain boards, but we're gonna have that discussion of what boards, if any boards, need identification badges, because they should not be going out and interacting with the public.
Right.
Most of their board issues are, requests from residents. There, and there might be some boards, I think of one like a Shade Tree Commission, where they may ask the shade tree to come out and do that. So, maybe inspect a tree or something. So maybe that board may need IDs or whatever. But we're going to talk that to see who needs IDs. And I just don't want to have too many township IDs out there.
Yep, okay. Any questions?
So Vic, do you have, Lisa kindly sent, do you have it? If not, I can read it.
I didn't get a text.
All right, so
It's on you.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna give a little bit
Got
of a
it.
rec update. I'm gonna try to sound like Vic with his exuberance. No, I won't be able to do that. So, for recreation, I'll read it. We are busy assisting Santa and his elves to return letters to all of Long Hill's good girls and boys. We had a lot of children write letters into Santa. Several businesses and residents have entered the 4th annual holiday house and business decorating contest. The recreation page, Lisa kindly answered the question, will have a driving list tomorrow on the rec page, so please take a look there. Judging, the entries started today. The annual cookie decorating contest is in full swing. Everyone needs to get their photos of their creations into recreation by December 18th. And the Myersville, as a Myersville resident, this is a pet peeve of mine. Lisa, if you're watching, Myersville is M-E-Y. Myersville.
If you voice text it, it goes like that.
Okay, fair enough. Randy, the parking lot is now paved. Oh, the Myersville Ballfield parking lot project is coming along. The parking lot is now paved, although it is not opening.
Report he gave.
I think I covered that one.
Okay. So that's what happened. So Lisa started out by saying you only printed the last page. So what you have is that last page. You missed the beginning part of the report.
It couldn't come out on his printer with such a big print.
I ran out of ink.
And Lisa said Matt is correct. It's voice to text, spelled it M-Y.
Even a
So,
broken clock.
Oh,
all right,
Wow.
that's the rec report.
That was a hatchet job.
All right, whatever.
apologize, that is my fault.
Vic handle.
I'm not trained for rec.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Al?
It's striped to it.
Wow.
The lot at Myersville?
Might as well,
But
great.
it's still closed though, correct?
But the stripes are there and everything? Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
All right.
There you go. I take offense to your qualification.
Well, no, it was a team effort. Okay. All right, any other discussion items? Any announcements?
Well, I have old business.
Old
This is
business?
an update, because nobody really looks at the agenda too often, but we get a lot of questions about the, I'm gonna talk about outside. A question about the construction in town, and on the agenda today is the liquor license transfer from the previous owner of Myersville Inn, or whatever they're calling themselves, to a new venture, what is it called? Black House Steak or something? Black Bull. So I would assume, I can't say anything for sure, but you figure somebody bought the liquor license, their intention is to reopen the restaurant. So stay
that's
tuned on
great.
that.
That's
And Deb Kuntz in the construction department, I saw her last week. And as an update to the Mike's Music Shop property, she said a contractor was hired and they contacted the town. So hopefully the permit process and the construction will start up sooner or later. But that was the one thing holding up one of the things from the last meeting. So an update that a contractor has been hired.
So the ball was in their court.
Correct, and it seems like they're starting to move it forward a little bit, which is great.
Okay.
And I'm sure everybody in town's happy about that.
Yeah, it looks like the Taco Bell project's coming along.
The buildings is gone except for the vault.
Building's down. What about Eberly? Is Eberly coming down soon?
We're just finalizing the final paperwork. He expects to have that down by the end of the year.
The wrecking ball's moving through
Yes.
town. All right. Any other announcements? Any other new or old business? All right. Then at this moment, let's open the meeting to the public. Anybody in the courtroom want anything to say? Anybody online?
Anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Mayor.
Okay, then I will close public comment. In closing, I'd like to say happy holidays to everybody. If you're not doing anything this Sunday, right across the river at Millington Baptist Church. I'll be leading the Christmas carolers. My kids will be playing brass band at that.
And the mayor will be playing guitar if I,
No, I won't be playing guitar.
no?
But they'll have food trucks and cocoa and a petting zoo, et cetera. They call it Millington Baptist, but it's just across the river in Basking Ridge. And then next Wednesday, there's going to be a menorah lighting at Chabad right there. So they're having a big to-do right there. Again, just you go right across the Passaic River. There's more fun to be had. It's not all in town here. And it's certainly not in this room.
Jack, that part used to be part of Long Hill or way back?
It used to be called West Millington. It used to have the
Yeah.
same,
That's what I'm
That's right.
confused.
used to have the same zip code as Millington.
Yeah, which was just the post office address.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, happy holidays to everybody, and I think we meet one more time at the end of this month to conduct some business, right? What day is that?
28.
29th.
29th at
29th.
8:30 a.m.
8:30 a.m.
Oh.
All right. All right, so, if there's nothing else, I think we'll a motion to retire to executive
With no further action.
with no further action.
So moved.
Second.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Al, thank you.